What do you think about synths?
What do I think when I think about synth? I think that, I was relatively old when I came to know about music. I was 13 years old, and I don't know what I was searching for, but I found it when friends of mine dragged me to a youth club.
Which one?
It was D14. It was later turned into a strip club, but then it was not a youth club anymore, obviously. But before that, it was for the kids, and it was like 16 years and older, and it was open late. It was the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Kids were allowed stuff. They're not allowed stuff anymore.
No.
and and we were, there was this DJ in my school, and he became friend of mine. I don't know, because I was a nerd, and we were walking. He was with his friend. They had these girlfriends. They were all cute. I was the nerd, and they were walking with his ghetto blaster. It was Planet Earth on the ghetto blaster, and it was like, woo. And then we stepped into the youth club, and it was Do You Wanna Funk with Sylvester was on, hammering, and it was just hammering the synth. And I think that basically the synth just hammered in how exceptional this experience was, being kind of born into a new reality with these DJs and all this music and this partying, and then just and since then I've always, arousing synth melodies have always, put me on. I think it makes me sexy. So synths make me sexy. That's the short version of that question. For me, music is it's the touch of the divine. It's a spiritual thing, basically. It's something out of this world. It's untouchable. It's somewhere in between. It's not, it's just something that travels but doesn't exist. It's magic. So for me, it has always been kind of really, emotional stir. Being bathed in music and letting it just bring me to some weird destination. It's like hallucination drugs or something. Yeah. So for me, it's this arousal of emotion that is from this otherworldly thing called music. It is just like like the songs of the angels or silence of the Greek. It just lures me in and I'm just lose conscious and just be part of this flow of magic. So I think so like you hear, I'm really aroused by music. People are of course differently aroused, but I've trained myself to be more and more aroused with music, and it feels good. And Danceorama is definitely very much about arousing. I should say, it's almost pornographic chords, because they touch you in a way that you're not sure if it's comfortable or not, but you like it.
Yeah.
So you could say Danceorama is taking these chord fetishism to some kind of an extreme.
There was a track where like an earlier state of it, I think it was Bjarki that described this as pornographic, like private stash.
Yeah.
Or what was that story again?
Yeah, Bjarki Techno explained to me that some of the demos, the first version of the demos I make, are kind of like private porn, because they are most often rather slow, and the chords are really, bathing you, so you're really, feeling relaxed, and you're bathed in this chord. And he called this Biggi Veira's private porn. And I guess it is. On the Danceorama, I was coming basically from mobile home, where it was a lot about the new wave kind of approach, and the new wave was all about arpeggios, where you just press one note but change them really quickly, because those were the synth that people could buy at the time. Just synth that could play one note at a time. So to be able to do chords, you had to do arpeggios. And I was kind of trying to do something elaborate and cool arpeggios and on mobile home. And for me, I succeeded. I thought it was really cool, and I felt I was doing a lot of really, you know, interesting things. Doing music for a long time, and this has always been kind of what I'm searching for, some interesting chord and harmony things. Of course, you maybe get to learn something, you know, to be a little bit better at it, even though I haven't learned any, have not had any formal musical training. But when I moved then into mobile home, I really felt to do, you know, just like the new way was doing a lot of things, either like these strange chord changes, some of these Gary Newman really dissonant things happening. But on the Danceorama, it's not new wave, it's like Italo disco somehow with these weird chord changes, but still hammered like they think it's a 90s song, you know, something like that. So that is kind of the hybrid thing. It's kind of taking this different vibes from these this musical genres and somehow do something new and arousing with it. And it has always been kind of part of the GusGus kind of assignment, is to explore electronical pop. And when I'm saying exploring, is to try to find some new combination, and combination then of what? Yes, combination of something that is going on, but also the vast back catalogue of all kinds of different electronic music from different areas in time. Some of it is forgotten, some of it was only instrumental, some of it was just touched for a while and then left alone because something else became fashionable, but still needs to be explored more. And so there are so many areas of electronic music that anyone, and I'm maybe saying this to maybe some of the young musicians, is that it's just waiting to be re-explored and put into new context. And I'm hearing that a little bit. I'm hearing some of the strange 90s stuff coming back in through some of the younger kids, and I really like that. It's exciting. So I think it would be really exciting to see more of that. And so for example, if you look at the 80s, everything happened so fast. You know, it was a musical, just 2 years later, the music was totally different. You had something in the 80s, then 82, totally different, 84, just something else, and 86, it was the house generation. So it was just a few years, there was just a lot of music happened and thrown away without maybe maturing or fully being explored. And I think it also explains a little bit, you know, one of these things that is also interesting about the 80s is that when there was a new synth, there was this new sound, and then the musicians came, touched those sounds, and they came new songs. And that is of course interesting to look at, is that, for example, if you're a classical composer and you're writing for a violin, you do that differently than writing for a piano or writing for a flute. You know, the instrument has a different sound, and it's different melodies that fits that sound. And this is a little bit the same as I'm doing with all this modular shit. It's trying to, you know, create some weird sound that is exciting, and then when I have the sound, I'm like, okay, I have you, sound, I like you. Do you want to make sex with me? Okay. Ooh, ding, ding. And one next, ooh, ding, oh, ding. Oh, this is cool. Oh, yeah. And then, you know, after a while, but, you know, playing with it, you know, you have a melody that fits the sound, and it's like, you know, like the bass in higher, you know, it was like.
Yeah, it's kind of.
It's just, that sound just begged to be played that way. And I did it, and that is, I think, well, like I say, with the synth, it's so much being drawn into the realm and just totally forget yourself in music and those arousing possibilities that all this stuff brings on. You know.
It's kind of funny with this studio in particular. I'm sure it's not on purpose, but like So like seen from the angle of the camera, from the viewer, on the left hand you have like the past and familiarity and stuff that you know inside out and outside in, and then the special 90 shelf as
yeah. Let me rephrase. I have here Uno 2 from '86. I have the Uno 106, two of those that are from the same area.
Yeah.
This is Jupiter 6 here. That is amazing beast, also from the early '80s. This is a Behringer version of the Monopoly that was also an 80 synth, but really nice one. It's the in Unfinished Symphony. And then here is the like you said, it's the 90s corner. It's my 90s drum machine, the 909, 808, and the SH 101. That is kind of like the 303 something similar, but you know, a little bit different. Of course, cooler. Everybody has a 303. And then the SH2 on top. That was all the distortion nastiness in the 90s. So yes, this is the 80s.
Yeah, and then on the other side, you're kind of like, this is it looks a little bit to the untrained eye, I guess. Like, well, I mean, to most of it, it looks like an animal, a modular synth, but like it's a bit like the control board of a spaceship, and you're kind of here you're seeking the future and exploring the new.
This is all kind of new stuff, you know. I bought my first of this in '98, and basically what modular synths are compared to normal synth is that synths like this, like the Uno 106, it has modules. It has DCO, it has filter, it has envelope, it has amplifier, and this and that, but it's all connected under the hood, and it's connected in a certain way. Yeah. And then you can have some sliders that are dedicated to those connections, and so it's pre-connected in a way to have some possibilities open for you, and it depends on the synth what is open, but often it's the same things that you see. But when you come to the modular, it hasn't been decided how to connect it, so you can connect it in a, you know, do something weird and different. You can, and also because you can always, you know, add on new modules, you can do more and more complicated stuff. For example, this is like a closed box with one oscillator and that's it. But here it's an open box. I can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know, just where do you want to end? So it's kind of just opens up possibilities. And basically, as I use it, is that I think maybe I get maybe a rough idea of a pads. I've been playing, you know, there's a couple of things that I've been playing with, is like fluctuating, but in scale oscillators and stuff like that, and some, you know, and then sometimes you just try something weird, something comes out of it. Sometimes I maybe look at some videos and see, how do I do a hi-hat? And somebody says, just a lot of, you know, just bunch of, you know, square wave high frequency stuff. Then okay, bunch of square wave high frequency oscillators, and just mess them up, and then I have some hi-hat that I can play with and explore with. So I think it's basically, makes me able to do a sound that is the sound that was created, and it's a bond between us because I created it, you know, and then we play together, and then it becomes music. So like I'm saying, it's a bit different process than, you know, just turning on some plugin and finding some cool sound and say, oh, this is nice sound, and then playing it. Is that it's like a love earned.
Yeah.
You have a sound and it's cool, and you're so happy. I did a cool sound. Let's do something with it. Instead of one plugins, you have this is cool sound. All of them are cool, kind of, but none of them are yours actually.
Well, I mean, you know, like you have done quite a few things with you know, with the Rolands that kind of have become a sound that's defined to you. So like. I know what you hear, because people always say that, you know, they can recognize a GusGus song. I don't know what it is, but it must be something. But I think it's really just important with electronic musicians, just like painters. It's an experiment, what you're doing. You are creating something while you're experimenting and learning, and you are working with certain kind of things, and you are trying to grow into that, master that form, and then cool to somehow confine yourself
into. I'm gonna use this synth like my new Jupiter 6. It's my it's my latest monster, and I'm trying to learn that really deeply and understand everything about it and create sounds with it. That's my new baby. So it becomes really intimate, and it's almost like a love affair. And I think that is kind of, for me, that is really important in music. I think it makes the music, makes it intimate.
Yeah.
I just think it's really important to somehow, like I say, you define your style. And if you're an electronic musician, so much of the style is how you approach sound, how you sculpt your sound, and how you create the spare of the how should I say it, the because it's kind of a 3D dimensional thing that you're experiencing. Something is in the middle, something on the side, something is deep, something is high, something is low. You're creating kind of a virtual image that you're experiencing with your ears. So my definition of electronic musician, if that is the thing that he's exploring, the possibilities of this through electronic music, but if you're just using synths and stuff to hit and cool songs, and if it sounds like something else that is hip and cool, then you think it's cool. Then you're more a songwriter using this equipment to bring some kind of vibe to your music, but maybe not this explorer going into the desert ending up with some weird stuff like Danceorama. What the fuck is this?
So where in the studio did Danceorama happen?
I think it was on the 106, like most.
The trusty
Juno 6. Yes. Yeah. I think that it's a perfect synth for those musicians that would want to have something that is a little bit hands-on, that is synth. And they don't want it to be too complicated. They want to be able to understand it and learn it without going through a big manual. And it sounds so good. It can do bass, pianos, all kinds of stuff, and everything. It always just sounds good. Some synths are they're good at doing this thing, bad at doing that. But the Juno 6 is just simple and clear sounding. Always mixes good. So I think it's a really good like a beginner hands-on polyphonic synth. But then again, it's old. I don't know how some of the there are a lot of all kinds of new replica and synths and stuff like that. I'm just saying, I don't know. Yeah. Haven't tried those. Yeah. I think the sound comes to some kind of like engine rawness. It's not digitally calculated. Yeah. It's some hot circuits kind of producing it. So you hear the machine somehow, and there is some grit to it that you just feel that it is from something that is it's not digital. I don't know how to explain it, but it's somehow I feel it, at least with the Juno 106, because it's so much with sound is that you can have cool sounds, but then when you put it on the speakers, it's just like it has all the description of being cool, but it just doesn't work. It's the same with like photos that are just out of place or something. It just some photos just get your focus, and others just don't. It has something to do with, I don't know how just your perspective is.
Yeah. T-World had some independent success. That was before. Was that before?
The T-World was a band with me and Maggie Lego. We were doing rave kind of music in Iceland in the years 92, 93, 94 into 95. And to maybe understand a little bit what we were doing is that you just have to listen to Purple on the first album, because that was a T-World track that was just put on the album. Yeah. We did that song in late 93 and it got some radio play in Iceland, and then that was it. It was unreleased. We had already released another track called Anthem on Underworld, but Purple was unreleased. So when we did the first GusGus album, we offered it up as a, you know, putting it on an album, and it was kind of, you know. Yeah.
So T-World was already signed to Underwater.
We were not. No, we had been thrown off Underwater.
So you had like one thing on Underwater, but like that was done.
That was it. Yeah.
Underwater was the label.
No, T-Wood was more just about Michael Eko was DJing at Rosenberg Kjallarinn, and he was a really cool DJ and was playing this amazing music, and all the 90s was happening, and all the cute girls were at Rosenberg, and you know, I was young and fresh, and we were doing music, and I was just hanging out with him at Rosenberg, you know, listening to him DJ and having fun, and that was the plan. You know, nobody in Iceland had become world famous or anything except the Sugar Cubes, and that was like, what? So there was no dream of being a musician. You know, we were in a, you know, a world-known musician. We were just in some isolated island in the north and no internet.
So you were creating before GusGus, while in T-World, you accidentally release in the UK on the label of Underworld, the Underworld guy.
Yeah.
But you were creating just for the dance floor. You were on yourself. You were just creating for Saturday night to listen, you know.
Yeah, basically, it was. We didn't have any. You know, I didn't have any. Basically enthusiasm. You know, that this was what my life's work. I was just doing this for having fun. I had a nice job, you know, and I have a degree in computer science, so that was what I was going to do. You know, I loved that job as well. The other music was just going to be on the side, but then it kind of changed through the years.